In project management, the finish line is every bit as important as the starting block. But how do you really wrap things up to make sure every single goal is met and you're perfectly set up for future wins? Today, we're going to walk through that final, crucial phase of closing a project, and we'll be using the world of construction as our main example.
So let me start by asking you a question. Is a project actually finished the moment the last nail is hammered in? Well, you might think so, but it's not quite that simple. A lot of people see project closure as just, tidying up. But it's actually a super strategic phase. It's what confirms the project's success and really solidifies its lasting impact, its legacy, if you will. To really get a handle on all this, we're going to break it down into 5 key parts. We'll kick things off with why closure is so crucial in the first place, then we'll walk through a really practical 5-step closeout process. After that, we'll look at the rewards of a job well closed, how to actually learn for the next one, and of course, the final handover. Okay, so Section 1. Why is this so important? Honestly, we need to kind of reframe how we think about this. Project closure isn't just about shuffling paperwork. It's about performance, it's about reputation, and it's about future-proofing your work.
Think about it. These final tasks are all tied to long-term value. A proper closure confirms you've delivered on every promise. You definitely don't want any doubt about whether a building meets safety codes, right? It also cements client satisfaction and helps avoid future risks. A single missed sign-off on a key inspection could balloon into a massive lawsuit a year later. And maybe most importantly, a good closeout transforms the end of one project into an incredible learning opportunity for the next one.
And that brings us right to our second section, the 5-step closeout. This is a practical, actionable framework you can literally start applying to your own projects today. So here are the 5 steps in a nutshell. We're going to review the physical deliverables, finalize all that paperwork, hold a post-project review, close out the contracts, and, just as importantly, celebrate the team. Now let's break each of those down.
Step 1 is all about physical verification. You need to confirm that everything has been built and completed exactly according to the contract. In construction, this is stuff you can literally see and touch. Is the building up to code? Are all the right materials and finishes installed? Are the plumbing, electrical, and HVAC systems working perfectly? This is your final quality check before that official handover.
Step 2 is all about the paper trail. This is where you make it all official. All your design documents, building permits, safety inspection reports, and final approvals have to be completed and signed. For a commercial building, for instance, getting that final certificate of occupancy is an absolute non-negotiable. That's the one piece of paper that says, yep, this building is safe and ready to be used.
Now, to plan for that documentation phase, a good closure plan always starts by answering these basic questions. What specific tasks are left? Who's responsible for each one? And what's the timeline? Getting this clarity right from the start is what prevents things from falling through the cracks later on.
Okay, next up is Step 3, the post-project review. Think of this as the project debrief. You get all the key players in a room, your team, your contractors, maybe even the client, to have a really honest chat. What went well? What didn't? Maybe some unexpected weather caused delays, or a certain subcontractor was just fantastic to work with. The whole point is to capture these insights while they're still fresh in everyone's mind. Step 4 gets into the nitty-gritty of the financial and administrative wrap-up. This means settling every last invoice, making sure every single subcontractor has been paid, and handing over all the warranty documents for the building systems. It also includes reassigning your resources. You want to make sure valuable equipment and skilled people are released and moved to new projects, not just left sitting idle. And finally, Step 5, which is all about the people. Let's be real. Construction projects are long and tough. Taking the time to formally recognize your team's hard work is so important. Whether it's a small get-together or a more formal thank you, celebrating success is a huge morale booster, and it sets a really positive, collaborative tone for whatever comes next.
So that brings us to Section 3. We've done all the work, so what are the rewards? What are the actual, tangible benefits of putting all this effort into a clean project close?
Well, the payoff is significant. A solid closure process makes sure all the issues are sorted out before the client moves in, which dramatically cuts down the risk of problems or disputes down the line. A happy client who has a smooth handover is way more likely to hire you again or recommend you to others. And internally, the team leaves the project feeling a real sense of accomplishment, which makes them a stronger, more collaborative unit for the future.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4, learning for the next time. See, a great project closer isn't really an ending.
It's the beginning of your next project success. It's where you turn that recent experience into future wisdom. One really powerful tool for this is something called 360-degree feedback. This is a system where you gather performance feedback from literally everyone involved. Team members, managers, subcontractors, even the client. It gives you this comprehensive, well-rounded view of what worked and who really excelled, focusing on key things like time, cost, and quality.
All of that feedback then feeds into a retrospective analysis. It sounds a bit formal, but it's a simple and powerful exercise. You just systematically document what went well, like, say, efficient material sourcing, and you identify what needs improvement. Maybe communication between the design and build teams could have been better. This isn't about placing blame. It's about building a library of lessons learned to make the next project even smoother.
And that brings us to our final section, the handover. This is where we cement the project's success and really start looking forward. I think this quote just captures the whole idea perfectly. Closure isn't a final chore you have to get through. It's a strategic process that confirms your achievements and actively prepares everyone, the client, your team, everyone for future success. It makes sure the whole team leaves with a clear sense of accomplishment. So I'll leave you with this final thought. How you end one project doesn't just close a chapter. It actually writes the opening paragraph for the next one. By treating project closure with the strategic importance it really deserves, you're not just finishing a job, you're building a foundation for continuous improvement and long-term success.